And I'm very happy now that we can start with Franck Vogel. You know Franck Vogel? Vogel, to be precise. You have met him yesterday. Who has not met him? Franck Vogel. Come back with me. And maybe you can't see it, but he's burning for the SDGs. Can you see it? Not yet, but in a second. And this is a serious question. Why do you really put your total life into the context of water safety, health, water health, and the environment, the SDGs? Why do you do that?
Actually, because I'm an engineer in agronomy, and I learned a lot during my studies, and I'm also a son of a farmer, so I know exactly how it's working. The value of water, the pollution, all this, so I know about that. And actually, I will talk to you a bit later on the Bishnoi, the first ecologists. And actually, this community integrated most of those goals we call today, like created by the UN in 2015, but they created their own ones in 1485. That's over 500 years ago. And it's something very important, and especially water, because water, if you look at the amount of water in the universe, it's very little.
Why?
Why? There is less water in the universe than gold. And it's true. You ask any astrophysician, he's going to tell you this. And our body is made of 71% of water, of fresh water. And on Earth, you have most of the water is salty. It's less than 1% of fresh water. So that's why it's so important to protect it. We have enough, but we just have to protect it.
And one last question from me. What does it add to your life, solely, emotionally, to put your business life into the context of the SDGs and water? What does it provide you with as a human being, as a soul?
It provides me kind of joy, because Earth, to protect Earth, actually it's not to protect the Earth. It's to protect the life of human beings and other lives. If you destroy it, Earth will still continue to turn around the sun. That's not a problem. But for humans, if you have all the water polluted, and not only water or other things, but you cannot live anymore. So it's just a matter of surviving, nothing else. And so that's why it's so important. And that's my mission, is kind of inspire people, especially young generation. And there is a foundation called IRIS in France who is supporting my talks. And I really thank them again, because it's very important to share with future leaders. You are future leaders. And that's important that I put a seed in your brain today.
You will now. Franck Vogel, enjoy traveling back in time.
Okay. So I told you just before about the Bishnoi. The Bishnoi is a community created in 1585 by a man called Jambeshwar. And from 1475 to 85, so they're living in India, in Rajasthan, in the Thar Desert. And from 1475 to 1485, there was no rain at all. So imagine a desert without rain at all. People go crazy. You have many communities living there, Jat, Rajput, Brahmin, many communities, different castes. And all of them suffered. And they thought that God forgot about them. And many were dying. And so they ate everything they could. They killed animals, all of them, most of them, to eat, cut trees, to sell the wood, to get some money to eat. And they were really kind of dying. And this man, Jambeshwar, told them one day, if you want to continue to live here, you have to change. Otherwise, you have only two options. Continue living here, destroying everything and dying, because it's going to be completely dead, or migrate. Now we talk about migrants. Same story, okay? So two options, or a third one, you stay here, but you change completely. And the first thing is to change your way of eating. So no more meat. That's the first rule. He gave them 29 rules. 29 rules. Where is this one? You have 29 rules, and you have, so, no more meat, and to protect animals. Not only cows, but wild animals. To share with them. He created, for example, an eco-tax. They have to share, they have to give 10% of their income, or their grains, to the animals, wild animals. Same for water, they have to share. In France, we tried to do an eco-tax, didn't work. But they managed 500 years ago. And with the animals, you have to love them and protect them. So since 500 years, we're not in a zoo here. Those animals are wild. And some are coming, that's a Bishnoi priest, eating in the hand of humans, just like this. So it's kind of a paradise when you watch it, especially from France or from if you come from other countries. It's very unique to see this. And they have also respect for women. They created maternity leave 500 years ago. It's crazy. And many other things. And they also have to plant trees and never cut a green tree. Because he told them, if you plant trees, the desert won't move. You're just going to stop the desert. So you have to plant trees, and you have to live in harmony with wildlife and trees and everything around you. You're not, like humans are not superior. They're not higher. They're not better. They have to be at the same level as animals, trees, everything surrounded by humans. And so they're also sharing water with them. So a Bishnoi has to plant 1 tree per year, minimum. And so that's about the story. I'm not going too deep into it, it's going to be too long, but... So this is a place here, the image you see, that's in Mukam. That's a place where the prophet, the guru, Jambeshwar, he's called Jambeshwar, has been edicting the rules and teaching people. At the beginning, it was a very small community, small village, but it grew, it grew, it grew. Today, there are between 700,000 and 800,000 people. That's quite a lot. It's nothing for India, but it's quite a lot. And so they come here to pray. So that's the most holy place for the community. So they pray. You see a little Taj Mahal here. So he's buried here, the founder. And so people come, 400,000 people twice a year to this place to pray. And so they also do dunes, sand dunes, because he told them, you have to protect your crops by building small dunes, windbreakers. And to respect him, they do dunes near the holy site. So people come, take sand from the bottom, and take them up with scarves, and throw the sand. So it's a kind of holy action. But since 30 years ago, plastic bags appeared. When you buy whatever, a coconut or a potato, the shopkeeper is giving you a plastic bag. You know, the thin ones. And what's happening is that the place of the first ecologist in the world has been completely polluted by plastic bags because of these dunes. So they use plastic bags instead of using the scarves, took the sand, could take much more sand, went up, throw the sand, and throw the plastic bag. So imagine, during over 20 years, 400,000 people twice a year, that's about a bit less than 1 million a year, plastic bags. On the side of the most holy place for the Bishnoi, the first ecologist. And they didn't realize it. Except one man, this man, Kamuram Bishnoi. And this man is another visionary inside his own community, and he started to fight against plastic. Everybody was against him. He was even beaten up by some Bishnoi people. And so he tried to teach people not to throw plastic and to remove the plastic from these places. And it was very difficult. I met him in 2007 when I started the project on the Bishnoi. And when I was asking who he was with his loud hero, what is he doing? So he's a crazy guy. And I was lucky that he was speaking a little bit of English. So I went to see him and I told him, what are you doing? He told me, I'm fighting against plastic bags, plastic pollution. You have, they don't understand. I said, okay, that's amazing. So I tried to help him to take, I told the people, if you want me to take a photograph of you, you have to pick up this plastic bag, you have to help him. And so it started like this. And when I completed the story on the Bishnoi in 2008, I was invited to give a talk at a big conference in France. And I told the organizers to invite him because he has a very interesting message. And after that, French TV asked me to do a documentary film. And I thought, okay, we have to include him. He has to be part of the story. People have to know about him. And so I brought him to France, to Paris. And he discovered, while traveling in Paris, public trash cans. He had no idea that such kind of thing exists. And so he took photos and said, I want this. I don't know, I didn't know how to do it, how to help him. But finally, with the film, we did the documentary film, I told him, okay, you have the idea, you have sketches you did in Paris, let's do it. Let's try to make those trash cans happen. And so we went back to India, and we followed the process of building the first trash cans. So we built them in Jodhpur, so it's in Rajasthan, and he put them in the holy sites. And now that happened in 2010, when we were doing the film. And 1 year later, all the place was clean because you had a movement of young Bishnoi people, and now they have a big Facebook community. Not only Bishnoi, other fans, and he became a hero of India because he was honored by some members from the government and to be a kind of environmental hero of India. And this man did it alone. So things are very important. You can do a lot of things by just, if you have an idea, just do it. You know, it's like, and then people maybe follow you. Actually, I helped him to do that, and I'm really happy. The only problem we have now, the place is clean, is that the plastic, we didn't find a good way to recycle it. So I had a meeting with the vice president of Tata at the time, in 2011. And at the time, they launched the Nano, the cheapest car, the Nano car. And I told him, why couldn't we do a Nano Eco to use the plastic bags or the plastic we collect and to use it inside this car? And he told me, that's a great idea. And so we started to work on that. And then the Nano was launched, but it was a failure. Almost nobody bought this car because they didn't do the benchmark was not good enough, and actually Mr. Tata lost a lot of money. And so the Nano Eco never appeared on the market, and we couldn't recycle it properly because it's not only the Bishnoi. The idea is to recycle this plastic for all over India in rural areas. That's the main problem. And so if you have ideas, just let me know.
No, it's for you. Do you have a question to Franck Vogel? Any question from you? Or the idea? Then you can connect afterwards. frankvogel.com. Are they connected, the Bijnois, digitally with the rest of India?
Yes, yes, with the rest of the world. He's connected through Facebook now. Yeah, and he's now inspiring.
Do you think, it's a very quick question from my part, that's here sustainability is a driver for innovation. You have made have a stake in that. Yeah. Do you generally think that thinking sustainability consequently can be a major driver for innovation?
Yeah, yeah, because if you put sustainability first in everything you do, it can be a driver of innovation. And you just have to put this first. Mm-hmm. If you put it first, then you think different. That's it.
Last question. You have been working in the field for so long. If you're interested in his work, in his photographs, in the Geo magazine this month and in February shows all in all 36 pages on your work of the Zambezi River. Yeah. So, last question. If you had not enough advice, but maybe a tip or an idea to share with these wonderful public, what would it be? Besides putting sustainability first, I go for that. What else? Any advice? Any tip?
As I told yesterday, and you told also at the beginning, it's like once a week, try not to eat beef.
We had that twice already today.
Yeah, and I told them yesterday as well, because beef actually to produce one steak of beef, 200 grams of beef, it takes 3,500 liters of water.
3,500 liters of water.
So just if you want to make something for the earth or to protect the water, that's one little thing. If everybody is doing this, you can make a big, big, big impact. That's it.
Franck Vogel, thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.